Chair now recognizes the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Guthrie, for 5 minutes for your questions.
Thank you for being here. So Chairman Carr, I appreciate your commitment to meeting the 800 megahertz target established in the Working Families Tax Cut. Can you talk about how the consumer benefits that making spectrum more available for commercial use brings to hardworking Americans, but focus on how it will impact prices for hardworking Americans?
Thank you very much for the question. Prices, according to new data just out, on the wireless side in particular, are already down over 4% from January 2025 alone. And part of this is our work to make more spectrum available, both through auction and secondary markets. When you introduce new spectrum into a market, the data shows that it drives down prices for consumers significantly. And so both in our work in the secondary markets and our work in the upcoming auctions, pushing more spectrum into the marketplace is going to be really good for consumers.
Okay, thank you. So, Commissioner Trustee, the U.S. has led the world in wireless innovation, including through unlicensed uses of spectrum, such as Wi-Fi is a great example of unlicensed. It's changed the way people connect to the internet and led to an ecosystem of new devices that we all rely upon. So could you, how can we continue to foster this innovation and investment to ensure the United States continues to lead the world in wireless?
Sure. Thank you for the question, and thank you for your leadership in spectrum policy. Because we have the spectrum provisions in the Working Families Tax Cut Act, that gives us the foundation we need to lead the world in wireless. And so to build on that, we need to maintain predictability in our spectrum policy, so to continue to have auction authority and a long-term spectrum pipeline. We need to be leading in international standard-setting bodies. We also need to maintain strong interagency coordination. And I think we need to be investing in artificial intelligence so that we can increase spectrum efficiency. And I think AI will define the future of things like 6G, AI native networks, and capabilities like integrated sensing and communications. And to build on that, I also think we need to continue to build trusted and secure infrastructure and develop coalitions with our international partners and allies so that our preferred technologies and standards achieve harmonization and scale. I think all of those things will position us well to lead in wireless innovation.
Okay, thank you, and welcome back to the committee. Hope you're enjoying it from that side.
Thank you so much.
And I enjoyed working with the ranking member of this subcommittee. We still work together, ranking member Matsui, on spectrum policy. That's been a good work for us. And so, Chairman Carr, could you speak to the importance of media modernization and why it's critical to remove outdated regulations for incumbent industries to allow them to better compete with big tech?
Well, one of the main concerns I have with respect to media policy is you have, on the one hand, all these individual licensed local TV stations. On the other hand, you have these national programmers, Disney, Comcast, a handful of others. And over the years, historically, we had a balance between the national programmers and the licensed local TV stations. But recently, what we've seen is those national programmers have just consolidated and amassed a massive amount of power. We're losing that balance between the national programmers and the actual local TV stations. In some cases, they're becoming just a mouthpiece for programming being produced by those national programmers. So the thing that we're trying to push the hardest on our media policies is to re-empower those local TV stations to compete in this modern media marketplace.
Okay, thank you. And also, Chairman Carr, space is expected to dominate the upcoming World Radio Communications Conference. I think Commissioner Gomez told me yesterday he has been very involved in the radio communications conferences. I'm deeply concerned about what China and Russia are doing in space. And that being said, our friends across the Atlantic have been making it difficult for the American companies to operate in the European market. Chairman Carr, from your perspective, how do we posture the U.S. for success? And do you think there's still room for partnership with our partners in Europe?
One thing I have credit to my predecessor, Chairwoman Rosenworcel, Solana, she stood up a new space bureau inside the FCC. And one thing that we're doing is really supercharging those efforts there. Right when I came in, we cleared out over half of the backlogs that had been there. We recently approved a next generation constellation into low Earth orbit. And we did that in roughly half the time that it had taken the FCC to approve the prior updated constellation. And so, as you point out, China wants to dominate in low Earth orbit and up and down all orbital slots.
I have about 30 seconds. So what in this area, what can the committee do to help? Is there legislative need for you, or what can we do to help you?
You know, the FCC needs to continue to move faster in this space, and legislative efforts to help lock that in would be a good thing.
Okay, thank you. I have 15 seconds left, and I will yield them back.
I appreciate that,